This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow man-child Johnny Karlic.
What's up, my glib globs?
And we've got some sad news here on the Rick and Johnny podcast. Iron Man, which you guys see right here behind us.
Yes.
We're getting to the point, Johnny, where you told me today, because he sits in your car.
He sits in my car waiting for each podcast.
And you told me today, because of his fingers and because of his arm over here, we might have to retire Iron Man.
Yes.
We might have to retire him. So I wanted to start the podcast before we get into our jam-packed show like we've always got for you.
Yep.
I want to ask you guys a question. This will also be on Twitter of if we had to retire Iron Man and put a different superhero cutout here, who do you want us to put there? Do you want us to put Captain America? Do you want us to put Batman? Do you want us to put Wonder Woman, Superman? Who would you want? And it doesn't even have to be a superhero. It could be, hey, guys, I want you to put a Jon Snow cutout there.
Yep.
I'd do that.
Rick,
or, hey, guys, I want
Sanchez
you to put
cutout.
a Rick Sanchez cutout. Some type of nerdy cutout if we had to replace. We're
replacing this Iron Man. It can even be Iron Man. It can be anyone
you could say
in
keep,
the Nurm realm.
You could say keep Iron Man. I want to keep the Iron Man there. It could be anybody under the sun. I want you guys to tell us. I want you guys to tell us who you would like to see. Because, yet again, we do this for you guys, our fans.
Yep.
But, Johnny, now we have a jam-packed show. We're going to be talking about some DC news. Well, not really news, just some things that we've noticed. Still don't have a Nightwing date. It was not in our Comic-Con news, in our Comic-Con podcast. And also Shazam, the director has come out and said it is going to be the most lighthearted of the DC films that we possibly have to date. And really, I want to get into that right away with the question of, is DC learning from its mistakes? Mm-hmm. Are they?
I hope so.
Really? That's all you got? Yeah, I hope they are. Give me some more.
Oh, you want
some
more?
I want
you're
more.
the DC guy. I thought
I want more. Well,
you'd have the big snowball to start it off.
I think it is. And the reason why I say that is mainly because what are two things we've criticized DC for in the past? We've criticized
Batman
them
v
for
Superman?
rushing. Well, besides that monstrosity, we have criticized them for rushing into release dates, feeling like they have to get stuff out quick, bing bang, because Marvel already has everything planned out. But not just that, we also have
staying true to the character.
Well, that's part of it.
That's the big thing we harp on.
Early on, they went with, we're going to go with this gritty, this dark, like Batman v Superman.
That. Yeah.
How it was gritty, dark, and now we're hearing, hey, this could be a lighthearted film.
Yeah.
This could be one that it feels like
Shazam?
they're getting away from that, feeling like, let's not go all into that. It's okay to have some lighthearted films here and there.
Exactly. Which, honestly, I like that they're going to go about doing that with Shazam. At least they're talking about doing that. Because that's the type of character it is. We don't want a Shazam that's just like Superman was.
No.
He was dark. He was brooding. He was gritty. Let's save that for Batman.
Yeah.
Let's save that for the Dark Knight.
Well, that is Batman. And
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Superman's not supposed to be that way.
The exact quote that we have, and this is from Shazam director David F. Sandberg, and when he talked to the Toronto Sun, he said, the big attraction for me with that character, being Shazam, is the fact that every kid dreams of being Superman, right? I mean, I certainly did. And Billy Baston is a kid that gets that chance. He gets to become a superhero. So it's a big with superpowers in a way. In terms of what people can expect, I think this will be one of the more fun or lighthearted movies so far in the DC universe. It certainly will be a departure, end quote. So that's the exact quote. And really, I like how he used the thing where everyone dreams of being Superman, and Billy gets to do so.
Exactly. I mean, what's a better way to make a lighthearted movie now than what any of us in this nerd realm dream about of becoming a superhero.
When I used to be a kid, and when I used to even be in high school, I would go to these superhero movies, and when I would get back, it would be like, oh, I remember seeing the Spider-Man movies for the first time, the original, the Raimi one, seeing that first one and going, you know what? I just want to be Spider-Man. And like sitting there, or like coming home from a movie and being like, as I'm going to my room, like acting out, fighting, like thinking that I'm a superhero because I had just seen this movie and that's what I wanted to do.
Come on, at like between 13 and 15, you were waiting for your mutant powers to kick in. Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. What person at some point in their life that's like us hasn't hoped that they could be a superhero in some way?
No, that's exactly it.
I'm still hoping.
I'm waiting for the super serum to kick in.
Exactly.
As we speak, I am waiting for the super serum
to be made,
to kick in. Well, to kick in, I already took it.
Oh, you already took it.
Hush, hush, man. Hush, hush. It's on the D-Low. That's on the D-Low.
You're not supposed to tell them.
I'm not supposed to. Maybe I've bleeped this out already. Maybe this conversation that we're having right now will not be heard by them.
Not even up there.
Yeah, maybe it's not. But on the other side, we've had the Nightwing director come out, and in a separate story has really said, you know, I've been rushed into, like, his whole thing is, I've been rushed into release dates, and I didn't want Nightwing to be on the Comic-Con slate because I didn't want to feel like we have a release date and this is what we need to do. And he even said, you know what, I really want this movie, and this was from Screen Rants that I heard it, was he wants this movie to be really rock solid before they even give us a release date, give us anything about it. Because and this was McKay, he said that he had turned down films because they were backed into release dates that made it difficult to make a great film, indicating the Nightwing movie simply isn't far enough along in the development process for it to make sense to lock down a release date. McKay continued on Twitter saying that those working on the movie need time to get it right.
Yeah.
And that's basically me saying, maybe the DC is learning from not pushing it into, we need to get this out right now, and saying, you know what, we're fine waiting on a Nightwing movie. Let's just make it really good.
Exactly. No, that's a great thing that they're doing. Instead of rushing into it like certain movies they probably have, or it feels like they may have. No, instead, let's wait, make sure this, like they have, I feel because Nightwing's more of like one of their offshoot movies, isn't it, in a sense?
Kind of.
It's not like
we've
this
talked,
straight line of Justice League characters.
Well, I mean, we've even talked about this could be the one that kind of shoots them into a Gotham universe.
Exactly. That's because they're talking about doing that, which is in one of our podcasts we talked about. Instead, they could be, this is kind of more of an, I don't want to say more of an offshoot, but it's not like your main line. This is your main line right here. This is your Justice League right here. Yeah. And this one kind of branches off because this is Batman. So it's like, this is Batman's area. This is Nightwing. We're going to get this right. We're not just going to jump in and say, here's Nightwing. We're going to take our time, make it a good movie, make it a good storyline, and not just, okay, we got a year to make this, year and a half to make this. Do it.
And with Nightwing, you don't want it to feel forced, only because Nightwing's not like Batman, where you can come into a Batman movie and it's like, okay, you know what? Everything's fine because it's Batman. And yes, people might not like the movie, but people will because it's Batman. With Nightwing, you might have to make it more of a great story because there will be people seeing it that are like, yes, I'm seeing it because it's DC, because it's a superhero film, but I'm not solely like, who is Nightwing? Like, I have kind of an idea, but they don't know Nightwing as well as they know Batman, as they know Superman.
Not everyone's sold on Nightwing.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is.
Unless you're like a Batman, DC kind of super fan.
Exactly.
There might be people walking into it that are like, I don't know the whole background. And to me, I rather, just not even with that, I rather, me being the guy who knows the backgrounds, I rather them take the time to get it right, because we see this example right now in a television series that you and me review each and every week in Game of Thrones. Go check it out, by the way. Should be up as this is going up. But we even see with that, how long did we have to wait for season 7?
Maybe
multiple years.
Year and a
half. Even Rick and Morty season 3.
Yeah.
How long did we have to wait? And so far with Game of Thrones, I love the pace. I love the season thus far.
Yeah.
Which even them saying that it could take a year and a half to 2 years for season 8, I don't care.
No.
I don't care.
Take your time and do it right.
If it's as good as it is, take the time. And even like Rick and Morty. Yes, we only saw 1 episode, but I was happy with it. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But 2, I really like what we've seen so far from season 3. So it's like, even if DC can take that, if you need to take the time, go and take the time.
Take your time.
Go and do it.
Don't rush it.
No one's rushing you. Right. No one's rushing you into doing this.
Quality over quantity. Mm-hmm. Marvel has just found a way to...
Do you think Marvel kind of, the whole reason they were in this situation is because they thought they had to compete with Marvel right away?
DC?
Like, holy
Why is DC?
I think holy shit, Marvel's already this far. We got to catch up to them.
I think that's what they were originally thinking. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, we're kind of not doing so hot.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they may have made a lot in the box office and everything, but the movies were not good.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're talking about when we say, like, they're doing terrible. They're doing terrible because it was a bad movie. They're not doing terrible financially wise.
Yeah.
They're doing terrible because it was a bad movie. When it came to, like, Batman v Superman, or even, you know which one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Batman v Superman and Man of Steel? Or are you talking after Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad.
I had to think for a second. I was like, where are you going
Suicide
with this,
Squad.
Johnny?
No, those were just bad movies.
I didn't, like, besides Will Smith.
Exactly. And I mean, that doesn't save a movie. It just makes one thing not as bad.
Yeah. Besides Will Smith.
And Margot Robbie.
Yeah. Those two were the saving grace. Well, not saving graces because I still didn't like it. But, like, I feel
they
like
helped your movie out from being shit.
Yes. Well, no, it was still shit. Let's be honest.
Shitty.
Let's not sugarcoat it. It kind of took away the smell a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was still there.
Gave you an aerosol can.
Yeah, I love this. I love the waiting. Even going back to Shazam, because I know we're kind of bouncing off of the 2.
Yeah.
I really like that they're doing this. That's the more lighthearted thing, but I like that they're doing that too, because we even saw with Wonder Woman where that was one where they went true to the character. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was kind of like when you look at like the screen, it had kind of a dark layer to it.
Yeah.
But the plot wasn't super dark.
Mm-hmm.
So that I walked into that and it's like after seeing it, it wasn't really dark to me. And it was like, oh, enjoyable film, true to the character. So as long as they continue being true to the character, I don't mind them going lighthearted. I don't mind them going forward with the, hey, we're going to take some time with our future installments.
Well, that's perfect example of Shazam now. Of, hey, we're going to make this lighthearted. And it's like, oh, honest, like, great, you're going to be more true to the character now. Because tell me, Shazam is more of a lighthearted character than most anyone else. Because technically, even when he becomes Shazam, he's a kid.
Yeah.
He's still a kid.
Yeah, even in, like, the cartoons, he still has that, like, kiddish mindset
there. Yeah.
He's just got superpowers.
Exactly.
And he can become Superman. That's why, like I said, I love for the fact that I know that people are going to be like, well, guys, Shazam is locked into 2019. They've at least locked that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's 2 years down the line, and I wouldn't be upset. I mean, I say this now. This could probably change when we get there, because Pacific Rim is kind of doing this right now. I wouldn't even be mad if DC said, hey, you know what? We said 2019. We got to bump it back 2 months, though. And we got to bump it back a month.
Yeah.
I'd rather see DC get it right. I'd rather see them get it right, because I think they're starting to realize that, you know what? We're not going to beat Marvel.
No.
We're not going to beat Marvel. Let's just go out there, make good films, and both of us can cash in on it.
Yeah.
The only thing they really need to avoid is they need to avoid, like, having, for example, don't let anything come out during Infinity War weekend.
Oh.
If there's a Marvel movie that weekend, you don't schedule anything that weekend.
Yeah, let's just avoid the Marvel movies. Marvel has got there's like we
Their blueprint.
We've talked about over the times. Marvel knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They have a setup, and they can get these movies out quick because they know what to do with it. They know, and it's even cool.
Well, and Kevin Feige. It's like, even I know we're not talking about this per se, but this was another story from this week.
Yeah.
Even James Gunn has come out and said, like, someone asked him about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and the cosmic universe and what could we see, and he goes, yeah, you know what? Me and Feige are always talking about it. He's like, we actually met earlier today for lunch to discuss this. So it's like they always have a plan. Kevin Feige at the top has done a great job kind of overseeing everything and having solidified guys. That's why I love that Joss Whedon came aboard for DC, because we got to see what he could do in the MCU. And now I can't wait to see his Batgirl film. I can't wait for that when it comes out, but I don't want it to be rushed. That's the thing.
Exactly.
I think DC rushed into it at the start, and now they're trying. They have to dig themselves out of a hole and make up for the mistakes that they made trying to chase down the juggernaut in Marvel.
Yeah, you know what I think it's a little funny now that I'm thinking about it, though? You know how they just brought up that they're going to make a more lighthearted one with Shazam?
Yep.
What's Marvel doing right now?
They're making everything lighthearted. I mean, even with Thor. Thor's more
Black Panther,
lighthearted than we saw
in Ragnar and
than Dark World.
Thank you.
Stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe a little bit could be because of that, but also I feel like it fits.
Oh, it fits Shazam.
It fits Shazam. Like, I don't want to see a lighthearted Batman.
No, I think it's funny though. It's just that we brought that up, and then I'm like, wait a minute. What's Marvel doing right now?
What are we probably going to bring up later in the show when we rank the MCU movies? Whoops. Kind of spoiled that for you.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We recorded these out of order, so Johnny doesn't know what's coming. You can see his surprise state. But any final thoughts on this before we move into the final two, which is just Marvel for the rest of the podcast?
Yeah. No, I'm just happy they're going to take their time, and B, they're going to stay true to the characters like we've talked about with many DC things.
Well, this is where I want to kick it off to you guys. Let us know down below, what do you guys think about Nightwing and them taking their time with it, with Shazam and it being more of a lighthearted film? Do you think this is DC kind of learning for their mistakes, making up for that? And how are these films, what are you expecting them for when we finally get them? Let us know down below in the comment section. But Johnny, let's move on into our second topic. And this one makes sense because if you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, you're like, guys, we already know you recorded these out of order, but future self or past self didn't know what was coming up next. So this will lead into what we are doing at the end of the podcast. That past self of Johnny Karlic did not know what we were doing and was shocked.
The poor confused boy.
But we are talking about Captain Marvel. And this was a story that we have not been able to talk about since Comic-Con.
Yes.
And the reason why I wanted to bring it up today is because everyone wants to hear about it. It's not like just because it's 2 weeks old doesn't mean, well, we don't want to hear about Captain Marvel anymore. Plus, it's kind of a slow news week for us here on the Rick and Johnny podcast. So here's the question I want to pose to you with Captain Marvel. We know that it's going to be in the 90s and Nick Fury's going to have both of his eyes. And we know that the Skrull are going to be the main villain. So I'm going to ask you, how will the 90s setting and the Skrulls as a villain affect not just Captain Marvel, but the MCU as a whole? How will all this fit in to the MCU?
Okay, I'm not going to give you my big one just yet. I'm going to start with a few little things. First off,
you're going to tease me. I'm
going to tease you. I know. First off, I know you're going to love any.
I love it. I love it. It's in the 90s. I love it.
Well, you love it in the 90s, but I think you're going to love as well. And if they go on any sort of Guardians of the Galaxy route, there's going to be great music for you.
There will.
You love 90s music more than any other.
I love 90s music.
Exactly. That's his bread and butter right there. So, I mean, I know you're going to love it that way.
90s and early 2000s are my jam.
It's going to be cool to see some, at least a younger Nick Fury, as well as finally get an introduction to Captain Marvel, a.k.a. Carol Danvers. Those are both going to be cool, and maybe some like little hints of earlier or not yet superheroes. Pre-Iron Man.
This is going to be before Iron Man.
This is going to be before Iron Man movie came out.
Question.
Yes.
Iron Man came out in 2008. Was that a movie where it came out in 2008? It was set in 2008.
I think it was.
Okay.
I'm not 100% on 100% sure, but I think it was supposed to be, hey, it's 2008. This is set in 2000. Yeah, it's set in 2008. Sorry, I'm like blanked for a second on the year. No, I think that's what it was.
Okay.
It is this.
So this is going to be before.
This is going to be
before
the 90s.
everything.
This is like when you and I were in the single digits of age. Yeah. So
exactly, because I didn't hit the double digits until the millennium.
Exactly.
Not
same.
the millennium, the millennium.
The millennium.
Getting jiggy with it. No, 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 no. Oh, no, no, no.
And there you go.
Getting
See,
jiggy with
90s.
it. Yeah.
90s
Well,
music.
that's more of 90s 2000.
Yeah,
it's the millennium.
It's the border.
How many times can I bring up Will Smith in this podcast?
I'm curious to see how many.
Going.
I just make as many 90s references as you can.
Because we mentioned Will Smith in the DC one.
We
now
did.
I've mentioned him in the Marvel side.
There you go. Ricky's got to
2 for
mention.
2.
Got to mention him in at least 2 podcasts.
But keep going.
So my biggest thing though is the Skrull invasion.
Okay.
Carol, as they said, it's going to be based in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the Skrull invasions, or at least the Skrull is the enemy. What if it's the Skrull invasion, which means that many of the superheroes we have or we knew right now may not be superheroes at all.
Well, they wouldn't.
They're Skrulls. Part of the secret invasion or the Skrull invasion was that they replaced all these superheroes. So this could completely flip around as I did with the Cord.
So what you're saying is all the heroes that we've known thus far are really Skrull.
Not all of them, but maybe a chunk of them are. This just kind of flips around everything in the universe.
But why would they do that?
I don't know, just make things interesting, or because we're ending everything. This is going to come out after Infinity Wars, which gives us, I don't know exactly why they what to do with that. But I mean,
this isn't the big one? This isn't the one.
This is the one I was bringing up to you.
Is this the big one?
The big one, yeah. The one thing I was going to bring up to you mainly because just think about it. Infinity Wars, at least the first one, is going to devastate a lot of things.
Yes.
And the second one, who knows what that's going to bring about. And then we're going to get Captain Marvel, Secret, the Skrulls, and maybe the Skrull invasion.
Was that your rewinding in your head?
This is me trying to rewind and go back to what I was saying.
Johnny needs a mulligan, so he's going to make that lip sound.
Yeah.
So you got the Skrull invasion.
Skrull invasion, which replaces a bunch of the superheroes, kind of gives us it could be the potential too of, hey, if we want to recast this person, we want to recast this one, they were a Skrull. I mean, I'm not saying Marvel would go with that type of cop out, but it gives us good hey.
See, I don't think so. Only because here's 2 things that I'm thinking of. At this point, Steve is still frozen.
Yeah.
We don't know where Steve Rogers is. And Iron Man, when you look at Thor is off in Asgard. You have Tony Stark is probably a very young boy. Because of
90s, he was
think about
MIT, I think.
Would he be? Because if Iron Man took place in 2008 when it came out, that would be almost 18 years ago. If we're talking 1990, that would be 18 years.
Remember, Tony Stark's not a young man. He's probably got to be around in his 40s.
In his 40s? So that means he's in his 20s.
Yeah, so he'd be at MIT.
Okay. So he's MIT in the 90s. Bruce Banner, what would Bruce's timeline be?
Approximately the same, maybe a little bit younger, so he'd still be in college.
He would be nowhere near.
He wouldn't be a Hulk yet.
Gamma radiation.
No, I'm not saying, but I mean, the Skrull invasion was partially to invade the Earth and reclaim things and make it their own. It's not that they were taking over superhero slots specifically. Well, in this case, in the storyline, they were. But who knows? We don't get the exact storylines there. So they can just have replaced Tony Stark.
Peter Quill, would Peter Quill be a kid?
He would be in space already. He left in the 80s, remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's why he likes the 80s music.
Yeah, exactly.
So he would be in space already.
It's just a theory I was going along with, something to play along with.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. And the true thing that I'm thinking of is...
Replace Nick Fury?
When they brought up the Skrull, my first thought was... Shit, I don't know how they'd fit into everything.
Yeah.
However, you could also go with the plan of, Ricky, it doesn't matter because after Avengers, when we get to this point, continuity doesn't matter. We're not going on that single timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
Anymore.
We're not doing a continuity thing anyways either. Mm-hmm. They said they're not doing that much anymore, and we're going to also have aren't we doing more of a galaxy as opposed to?
Yeah, they're going to have a cosmic universe.
Yeah, there you go. We're going more of a cosmic universe. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it doesn't 100% matter, but like example, we can replace Nick Fury.
How so?
I mean, no, I'm saying we can actually, a Skrull can replace Nick Fury, and that could be what brings some of this stuff together. I'm just saying, it's a potential that they could have replaced people that eventually become something else in the Marvel Universe.
Here's something that I'm going to bring up that might debunk this. Though.
Okay.
If people die in Avengers Infinity War, yes, you can say this isn't completely debunking it because maybe the right people didn't die.
Yeah.
But if people die that we expect to have been Skrull, and they're not Skrull when they die, how do we know? Or because I'm trying to think of that. Because in Avengers Infinity War, people are going to die.
Exactly.
There are going to be people that die in Avengers Infinity War. And for Captain Marvel in the 90s, I really think that I am leaning towards this might be not necessarily a one-off or a one-shot, but this might be hey, you know what? This is a look at a hero that we have not seen, and we want to do something different. We want to set it up to where, because most of these movies have been taking place in present time.
Yeah. Along a timeline.
The only ones that have really been taking place in the future, I would say, or in the past, is Guardians 2.
Guardians 2
took place months after Guardians 1.
I think they said a few months after.
So
it's not that long after.
It would be in the past from when
it came out.
Whereas this, hey, let's do that again, but let's go further into the past. Mm-hmm. Let's go all the way into the 90s before the MCU was ever set up.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. And that's where my interesting fact is, because part of me also feels like, is this kind of we've seen Fox do this already with the X-Men.
Yeah.
Where the last film was the 80s. I believe X-Men First Class was the 70s?
60s. Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yes, the 60s. Then I believe we had the 70s, because I know we had the 80s.
Days of Future Past was the 70s.
The Apocalypse was the 80s.
Yes.
Now we're getting in
90s.
Phoenix Saga. We're getting the 90s, which I can't wait for, because we're going to get my 90s X-Men.
Yep,
and
exactly.
those suits. And I've already seen Cyclops, and I love it. I love it. Can't wait to see it on the big screen. Maybe this is Marvel saying, hey, you know what? If they're tapping into that and it's working, let's try that. Mm-hmm. Now that we're not having a continuity thing, let's try that and let's do that.
Yeah.
This will be the part of the MCU, and I say MCU just because it's a Marvel movie. It's where, we don't have that timeline anymore because we're ending it with Infinity War. Let's tell these different stories. Or it could be a contained story and an origin story for Captain Marvel, because how many people do you think coming in, unless they're super Captain Marvel fans, know the origin of Captain Marvel off the top of their head?
No, exactly. I agree with that. The reason I was throwing that thing out there earlier was more of an interesting storyline, maybe something that if they wanted to, they can play along with. Doesn't have to work out that way. Never said it did. It's just like more of a theorizing out there.
Your plan backfired on you, right?
Why?
You tried blowing my mind. And see, that's the problem.
Yeah.
When you try to, sometimes it goes right over Ricky's head.
It did.
Like that's the part you got to fear. When you've blown my mind, it has just been snap ideas that make things go off. When you put in actual effort and you try to do it, you risk the fine line of it going, and that's what it did.
Yeah.
That's it. I just wanted to make sure you know that.
Yeah, no, I figured that. It went over Ricky's head.
In fact, when I had to ask, is that it? Is that the big one?
That was the big thing?
The big one? But yeah, I mean, Captain Marvel I am interested for.
So am I.
Only because, like, the Skrull, the only time I've seen them in comics were the Guardians of the Galaxy graphic novels that Mark and I have read. Other than that, have not seen the Skrull in a graphic novel that I have read. Because yet again, Marvel, I've read far less Marvel than I have DC in my lifetime. And I just don't know how they're going to, if they are going to fit them into, and if they're going to tie Captain Marvel to the cosmic universe.
See, my thing, my way of knowing the Skrull is via the Avengers cartoon on Disney XD. I think it was the earlier ones they did it in. And they were replacing superheroes was more so the thing, but they also replaced politicians and all these other people. That's where I know them from, which is why I thought,
what if they just tried that instead of the replacing superheroes? It's the Skrull invasion, and you just see them replacing politicians and normal people.
well, that's what I'm saying. They're replacing
Like Bill Clinton gets replaced by a Skrull.
Well, that's the only reason I said, well, they could replace Tony Stark. Super genius, even in MIT. He's a kid that built his first circuit board at the age of 7, I think the movie said. Why wouldn't the Skrull focus on someone like that?
Someone of that brain power.
Exactly. It's like, this kid's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
So let's replace him, and because he would go somewhere. And plus, he's got his dad's Stark Industries
No, I could.
to take over that. So that's why the only reason I said, well, they can replace people like that, or the Skrull could have. And they don't have to replace people we know. They can, like you said, they can replace politicians, normal people, or just people of that higher power, stuff like that. So, I mean, I that's why I'm like, well, Secret Invasion would be kind of cool story concept to go with. Maybe not the exact one, just at least some play on it.
I'll ask you this because you're more the Marvel guy than I am. If they don't go Skrull Invasion, do you have a secondary story they could go?
Playing on the Skrull, since that's our villain, not 100%, except like not a secret invasion, but just a general invasion.
Yeah. Because really, that's the only thing that they can do is the Skrull are from outer space, and in order to get to Earth, they would have to invade Earth.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there's not much you can work around with that setting.
I mean, obviously, this is going to be an origins movie as well. We're going to see her get her powers. Because otherwise, why would it be Captain Marvel?
Yeah. I mean, and plus, like I said, not a ton of people are probably familiar with I'm not even super familiar with the Captain Marvel origin story.
I know one of them from, like I said, the cartoon as well. And I don't know if that's the continuity with the comic books, to be honest, because I have not really read a lot about Captain Marvel, except for the fact I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be Miss Marvel in a lot of the stuff, and Captain Marvel is supposed to be Captain Marvel.
Marvel.
Yeah,
all I know,
a Kree scientist. But
all I know is that Captain Marvel used to be Shazam.
Yeah.
Used to be Shazam, and then we stopped using it.
And then Marvel just, whoop, that's ours. Why shouldn't we have Captain Marvel?
Yeah, well, it makes sense.
It does.
It makes sense. I mean, I don't know why DC would have a hero named Captain Marvel. I think Shazam fits him fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Captain Marvel would just be too redundant. He should be in the Marvel Universe.
I mean, how catchy is it? You get struck by lightning after screaming, Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. I like Shazam. That's a lot better of it. But any last thoughts on the Captain Marvel, the supervillain? Because I can't wait. I love the 90s setting, so I can't wait to see it in the 90s.
I think that's probably what you're most excited about.
That is the most excited. Like that and X-Men. That's what I want to see.
I am super excited and curious to see how they're going to play the Skrull into this, because that's the only thing I can think they would do with it is some form of invasion. That's the only thing. It doesn't have to be secret, but some form of invasion. Small fleet, something. Yeah. It's got to be something where we're trying to take something of the Earth. I really want to know how they're going to play it into it.
Well, this is where we're going to turn the conversation on to you guys, because we want to know what you guys think.
There it is.
How does the 90s setting, how does the Skrull as the main villain, how will it fit into Captain Marvel? Let us know down below what you guys think, because I really am into it to where the 90s setting will be cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be that precursor, kind of pre-MCU kind of feel. But when it comes to the Skrull, I'll be honest, I don't know how they're going to fit in. Like, I feel like maybe the Skrull invasion's the only way to go because it's an invasion. Did I blow your mind now?
No, I thought of something, though.
Okay.
That you and I didn't even think about with this.
Okay.
Nick Fury's going to be in it, and she's in no mention of anything else. So this is going to be super kept under wraps by S.H.I.E.L.D. Just one thing I was going to throw out there.
Yeah, because they never met. Like, usually you hear the little snippets of, like,
this?
Captain Marvel. Oh, that's Captain Marvel. Oh, that's Steve. something like that, where they didn't even mention.
Oh, this is Iron Man.
Let's be honest. Like back in 2010 and that, they probably weren't even thinking Captain Marvel.
No, they weren't.
But this is something that they could play along with.
Yeah,
Shield kept it under wraps because it was a
wraps.
huge invasion by the Skrull.
Yeah.
That they just kind of swept under the rug. But I want to know what you guys think. Let us know what you guys think down in the comment section. And Johnny, we are going to end the podcast today with a very special topic. I have yet, as I told you guys at the beginning of the podcast, I have yet to tell Johnny what the last topic is. And the reason being is because this is, I didn't want you to think about it. Yeah. Because, like, we couldn't come into this topic with both of us not knowing. Mm-hmm. Obviously, someone has to bring it in.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of hard to hard to do.
I saw the guys on the Kind of Funny channel, on the Game Over Greggy show, they did this.
Yeah.
And they did it. I thought we could do it perfectly, the same thing, but it would be different because obviously we're ranking something.
Okay.
Obviously their rankings and their thoughts are going to be different than our rankings and our thoughts. And what we are ranking today is, I have a Google Drive that I have not shared to Johnny until just right now.
There it is.
We are ranking the MCU movies from Iron Man to Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, God. That's
all 16 of them.
Jeez, Lou.
In order. And how we're going to do it is basically, I didn't want to do it to where it's like come in with your 16. I want to talk about it as we're ranking them.
Okay.
As we are going through them. So the ones that we've got for you guys that are unaware, Iron Man, Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, First Avenger, the Avengers movie, Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, Winter Soldier, Guardians 1, Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardians 2, and then Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay.
And to me, here's where I wanted to start with this, because to me, the biggest thing about this list, Johnny, is that they're all, I've loved all, well, loved. They've all been good movies, like when you're going to a movie standpoint.
Yeah.
But obviously there are some of these movies that obviously have flaws in them.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, my first thought is start from the bottom. Why, like, if I start to rattle myself with what are my top 5, I don't even know what I would do.
Yeah, no, this is a tough one.
Johnny's like, great. This is what you hit me with. This is what are you thinking? Because you're the one that's kind of shell-shocked with this.
I'm trying to think of, because obviously my thing is Marvel, so it's kind of hard for me to pick one that's like, who's the best, who's the worst.
You love all of them. And
of course I do.
And on the Google Drive, I made a second one. You used the top one, I'll use the bottom
Okay, because I was going to actually just write mine in orange, but okay.
Yeah, no, you can use the top graph, I'll use the bottom graph. And then when we're done with this, because obviously we'll be done by the end of the segment, I'll leave them down below in the description for you guys. And mine are easy from the bottom segment, because my number 16th is very easy, and it may shock you. It's Thor the Dark World. Thor the Dark World is 16. 15, it would probably be Hulk. And 14 is Iron Man 3. Maybe flip those last two, and the Hulk. Yeah, I'm going to say Iron Man 3 is 15, and Hulk is 14. That's my bottom 3. Easiest thing to do on this list. Easiest thing to do.
I'm putting Hulk as my 16.
So Hulk's your last one?
Yeah,
well,
you know.
Do you really need a standalone Hulk movie?
Well, I wouldn't mind a standalone Hulk movie, and I like some of the things they did in it, but my biggest thing, and I've said it before to everyone, even you, Edward Norton's not the greatest Bruce Banner. He's a good actor.
And he's not the easiest actor to work with.
That's so I've heard. But, I mean, he's not Bruce Banner. That's my biggest thing. I mean, it was kind of cool, Abomination, the fight at the end, and it was better. It was way better than the Ang Lee one. Let's be honest about that. But I mean, we had a little subtle hint at the leader, mostly just fighting the military, which we got that all in the Ang Lee one. So it's like, can we differentiate a little more? Like, could we have gotten Abomination a little sooner? And that's why it's lowest on my list. It's not for the starter standalone movies, it's not that great. It's not terrible, but it's not great.
And here's a question I have, and this goes into when we're ranking these, do you think movies like Iron Man, Thor, First Avenger, maybe even Iron Man 2 and the Hulk, are they going to be lower on people's lists only because it's the fact of they were so long ago and we have seen the movies have gotten better since Iron Man 1. It's been 10 years.
That's completely true.
And you always remember, it was always the fact of, they told me this in music whenever we played something, you'll always remember the beginning and the end. Mm-hmm. So like for me, Iron Man, yes, I remember that. I remember how I felt. But I always remember it's the last movie that came out is the one, like Guardians and Spider-Man are the two that
popped in mind right off the bat.
In my mind.
Oh yeah, they're not like as far back as the others. So yeah, that's why they pop up right away. Mm-hmm. That's just how things work. Like you remember something that someone told you 5 minutes ago is something someone told you 50 minutes ago. Yeah. So 16 and 15 are actually for me the more of the earlier movies because I put Thor as 15.
Okay. The first Thor or the second
The
Thor?
first one.
Okay.
I like the Dark World better than the first one.
I'm on the other side. If you asked me which Thor movie I liked more, I liked the first one more than I liked the second one.
I like the second. It's close.
The second
when you're comparing the two,
the second one to me was more of just I don't know. I felt like it was the only thing it accomplished to me at the end of the movie was it showed me where the Aether is, which was an Infinity Stone.
Yeah,
that's all it did for me.
I mean, what did Thor do for you though, other than setting up Thor?
It just introduced Thor to
introduced Thor.
No, I'm not saying Thor's should be in like the top 5 or anything.
I know it's your number one.
I just like the. What do you think my number one is?
Oh, I'm gonna say Spider-Man: Homecoming.
I don't fucking know what my number one is. That's the thing. Like right now,
I know Spider-Man: Homecoming's on your top.
Now here's the thing: Spider-Man: Homecoming. I was like, for sure. I remember when we saw it. I told you top 5 Marvel, like top 5 MCU movie.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to think: do I only say that because it's the last one I saw? Am I only saying that because it's the last one I saw?
I mean, that's possible, but Spider-Man's also one of your guys.
He is. He's my favorite. He's my favorite Marvel.
And Tom
hero.
Holland's probably been the best Spider-Man so far.
Like right now, I have a preliminary for. I'm just putting X's by my top 5.
Okay.
And in no particular order, these are the ones I have X's by right now. Iron Man 1, just because it was the one that like
started it all.
And this is what I kind of want to ask them too.
Yeah.
Am I only putting Iron Man 1 in there because it started it all? Like, are we putting it on the pedestal because it was the first, and without Iron Man, none of this would have been possible?
Well, it was a good movie, especially because
plus, look at where Robert Downey Jr., a.k.a. Tony Stark, a.k.a. both of them, they're the same person.
Yeah, one and the same.
Are vaulted now back to where they were 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, he is a fantastic Tony Stark. He is Tony Stark. There's really no arguing that besides the lack of mechanical and electrical engineering, he's Tony Stark. The attitude and everything. Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to say that that's not one of the higher movies up there because, it started it all, but it also was a really good movie. The acting was phenomenal, especially with him. Yeah.
And, I mean, the other ones that I have, the 2 other ones that I have, these kind of fall under the, do I only have them on there because they kind of took all the characters and put them onto one screen? Yeah. The original Avengers. Like, that kind of is a little bit of column A, column B. Am I putting it in there because that was the pinnacle and it was like the first time that we've seen all our favorite heroes onto one screen? Yeah. Or also am I putting it in there because we had all of our heroes on one screen and it was great? I have Civil War with an X by it also, just because of, like, that one kind of jump plotted where we were going in the MCU, but at the same time, do I only like it as a top 5 and I think of it so highly because it had a ton of characters in it and I got to see everybody? And then Guardians 2 and Spider-Man are the last 2 that I have kind of with X's right now, kind of rounding out my top 5, because where I'm looking at it right now, I have 16 Thor the Dark World, 14 Hulk, 15 is Iron Man 3, and the one, you know what I kind of want to put at 13, and I don't know if this is too low to have it,
Okay.
Ultron. I was very not like when Ultron happened. It was like, yeah, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But looking back at it, you're kind of like, nah. I could like if it's on TV, nah. I guess I could watch it. Mm-hmm. Like out of all the Marvel movies, it wasn't as good as it. Like it didn't have the same feeling as the first Avengers, and then Civil War blew it out of the water. If we're talking about the ones that had the full team up action going.
Yeah, that's true. If you're talking about team up ones. Yeah, I'm having a huge struggle
Johnny,
with this one.
I can see the wheels are constantly turning for Johnny. They're constantly turning.
It's so hard to choose.
What's going through your head?
Like
Talk it out with me.
Because I was trying to start from down to the number one, and I'm having trouble picking which ones are the worst ones.
How many do you have right now?
I have 16 and 15.
Okay, that's it. So your 16 was Thor.
No, 16 was Incredible Hulk.
And then 15 was Thor. Where does Ant-Man? Is Ant-Man in the middle or is he towards the bottom? Because I want to say there are some people that could put it in the top 5.
Yeah.
But right now I'm thinking, because Ant-Man's not in my top 5.
He's
Should he be more towards the top or more towards the bottom?
He's like bottom middle because it was more of just let's introduce Ant-Man. And it was funny. It was a good movie, but I wouldn't put it up there because it's not. I don't know. Just like it was there and it was good.
And I mean,
but it wasn't phenomenal.
The only thing it did to move the story along was the after credit scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we saw it, Falcon and Cap, and they had Bucky with his arm
stuck in the thing,
and it's like, well, are you gonna tell Tony?
Which Bucky are you?
Yeah, which one are you? Kind of a thing, and that's it progressed the story, but was that one more of a standalone? I'm at the same thing because I have 16 through 13, and now I'm thinking of my 12. I think I want to put I don't know. I'm stuck between two of them right now. I'm stuck between Iron Man 2 and Thor. Iron Man 2 and Thor. Because I'm trying to think Iron Man 2, Whiplash, obviously better than Iron Man 3, but Thor was kind of like the first time we saw Thor. Mm-hmm. And when if Thor was on, I'd be like, yeah, it's not like, oh my God, it's my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, I'll watch it. Whereas Iron Man 2, it was on, and I went, nah, let's skip it. And I kept flipping channels.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
I think I answered my own question.
There you go. See? That's not hard to do.
No, it's not.
I guess I'm trying to go around, which one of these would I want to watch more over each other? So, just kind of putting them up against each other. If they're on TV, that's
all you got to do.
And, which one would I want to watch more? Which is why, again, Incredible Hulk is 16.
And now as you get more towards you're having a problem at the bottom.
Yeah.
Just wait as you progress.
This is going to be harder and harder.
Because I'm on 10 right now. Mm-hmm. And the ones that I'm thinking about, First Avenger, which I think in most people's minds, how most people perceive it, I think it's the most underrated of the Marvel movies. Maybe because some of the opinions that I've seen is, it's more towards the bottom. Winter Soldier and Civil War was better. I think that First Avenger is very, very underrated. Then it's Winter Soldier, another good MCU movie. Guardians 1 was really good. I think Guardians 1 has to be a top 10 kind of film. And even Doctor Strange. Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange was a good one. Well, actually, right now they're all kind of top 10s because I'm at number 10. Didn't realize that one until I said it. But when you get to the top 10, it's okay, where's my pecking order for these going? Where are they going? What do you put in here? What do you put in here? What do you put in there? Do you think Doctor Strange should be a top 5 Marvel movie?
I think it's close, if not there. I thought it was a phenomenal movie. The special effects, the acting,
I was gonna say
it was funny.
Effects.
The visual effects, whatever.
Well, it's the same thing.
Yeah. It's funny.
I'm just watching you. I'm just right now watching
I'm
you.
looking on my scale and I'm like, wait, what happened here? Because I gotta delete these. Hold on.
Oh, that's right. I'm looking. I could just look at what you're doing.
Because I'm almost at 11.
You're almost there. Incredible Hulk, Thor. Wow, you're one of those people.
Huh.
You are one of those people. Like I just said, why is First Avenger 14?
Why is First Avenger 14?
Why?
Because all these other movies, I'm just going along the lines of which ones would I watch over the others? Again, I would watch them all. I would
watch First Avengers.
I would marathon them all in order because I like doing that.
16
going
all
chronologically, it would be great. But you know what? It's not one of my first picks of like.
Wow, you have Thor: The Dark World above First Avenger.
I do. I liked it more.
Is that our bias coming out? Because you're more Thor,
I think
I'm more Cap.
I think part of it's a little bit of the bias, and that's everyone. Everyone's gonna have their superhero bias. Just like I already know Iron Man 3 is above Thor: The Dark World.
Jeez, no. Iron Man 3
I like Iron Man more than I like Thor by a hair. Robert Downey Jr. is fantastic.
When it comes to those, yes, because I have Thor: The Dark World under Iron Man 3.
Exactly.
But if I could put them both on the same plane, like both at 16, I would. I did not like those two. Like, looking back, them. I'm like, those are probably my least favorite Marvel movies. You know what? I kind of want to flip it now. I kind of want to put Iron Man 3 at the bottom, but I can't just because Thor: The Dark World, if you asked me to say key points from it,
yeah,
I wouldn't be able to. That's how forgettable it is in my mind, to where the other ones I can. I think at 10, I think I'm gonna put Ant-Man at 10. So he's gonna be the bottom of my see, I don't know. This is where it gets hard for me. Because 6, you know what? Here's how I'm going to do it. Now I'm going to go back to the top. Mm-hmm. So 6 through 10. 6, I'm going to do Guardians of the Galaxy. Because Guardians and Guardians 2 are close to me.
Yeah.
And they're almost the same. I'm actually then going to put Guardians 2... No, I'm not going to put it at 5. I don't even know what I'm going to do at the top 5. Don't overthink yourself, Ricky.
Damn it, I forgot to put Ant-Man in there again.
Then at 7... 7, I'll put Doctor Strange. Then at... Then at 8... 8, I'll do... Winter Soldier. 9, I'll do First Avenger, and then 10, I'll do Ant-Man. Yeah, that's how I'm going to do that. So, what I have right now, I have yet to do my top 5, but here's what I've got, Johnny, while you kind of rework yours.
I made it to
Did
10?
you?
I made it to 10, yeah.
Starting at the bottom, I've got Thor: The Dark World. 15, I've got Iron Man 3. Then at 14, I've got The Incredible Hulk. 13, I have Age of Ultron. 12 is Iron Man 2. 11 is Thor. Then as we get into the top 10, Ant-Man is 10. We have First Avenger, Captain America's 9. Winter Soldier, Captain America is 8. Doctor Strange is at 7. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 is at 6. So I have got my 6 through 16 all mapped out. And I just have to do 1 through 5. I got to do the final 5 is what I have to do. You said you've gotten to 10. You're
7
in your
through
10.
16 now.
What movies are in your top 10? Just name the ones that you
ones
have
that are in
not
the top 10
ranked
right
that
now?
are in your top 10 that you're got to think between.
So Iron Man, the first one, and then number 8 is Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
I have Captain America: Winter Soldier. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 is 7.
Okay.
9 is Age of Ultron.
Okay.
Captain America: Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and Spider-Man: Homecoming.
So it looks like our top 10s are kind of similar.
Yeah.
Where you have Avengers very low in my mind. Why do you have Avengers so low? Because remember, Avengers I had in my top 5. Somewhere in my top 5.
It's great. It's fantastic. And it's like a rememberable movie. Mm-hmm. But some of these other ones are just as standalones compared to they're better.
So you're saying it's too old?
It's not just it's too old. It's just like, because it was fantastic. There are better movies out there. All together, there's better movies out there.
That's the problem with this ranking.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with this ranking is that all of the just because, except for maybe in my mind, Thor: The Dark World and Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
especially when you get in the top 10. Like, I have Ant-Man at 10, but in no way am I saying Ant-Man's a terrible movie.
Oh, no.
Like, I'm not saying that Ant-Man was a bad movie. It's just, out of all these movies, I put it 10th. Like, that's where it ranks up with this greatness.
I'm just going to state now for everyone watching the podcast, I'm not saying any of these are terrible movies. Marvel is my thing. It's more so the idea
It's your baby.
It's my baby. And if
It's your baby.
It's more so the idea of if I go into my DVD cabinet, my Marvel section is all set aside from everything
Johnny still
else.
buys DVDs.
I buy DVDs, Blu-rays, and the digital downloads. I like all three. Thank you very much. Or any combination with the digital download. But anyways, I buy the hard copy and I go into my cabinet and say, which of the top shelf right here of all the Marvel movies do I want to watch? It's not like, it's like, what do I feel like watching right now? It's instead of like, well, this was a terrible Marvel movie. No, I've never, have I ever said that?
No.
Exactly.
Never. You've never walked out of a Marvel movie and said, this was horrible.
I would never want to watch this again. Oh, except for Ang Lee.
Yeah. Yet again, we didn't go. That was so long ago. We weren't even friends.
Well, it wasn't even Marvel
when that
yet.
came out. Yeah. We weren't we didn't even know each other.
We didn't know each other
when
existed.
that Hulk movie came out. Shoot, now I've got the real hard one. I've got my top 5.
I'm on 7 right now, so I've got 6 through 1.
You keep talking through yours because I'm getting ahead of you.
Yeah,
I want to do the top 5.
It's hard
together.
because it's Captain America: Civil War, Captain America: Winter Soldier, Doctor Strange, Volume 1, Spider-Man: Homecoming, and Iron Man, like the original. So like, it's so hard to pick between all of these, which ones are better, which ones are worse, because some of them they're all like fantastic movies. And I think I figured out my number 6.
Okay.
Just because of thinking through them and like how I felt about watching those movies. You're gonna check it out right now. I see you doing that, and it's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
It was a really good movie.
It was a really good movie. That's why it's number 6.
I remember we reviewed it and both of us gave it 5s.
Yeah, I put it as my number 6. It's really high up there. But there's other movies I'd rather go and watch.
That's another thing, and I'm pulling this from the Kind of Funny, and one of the things that they brought up, and it's funny because you did almost the same thing. In most rankings, would you expect Guardians 1 and Guardians 2 to be back-to-back, butt-hugging each other? Just because it's like Guardians 2 was great, but also Guardians 1 was just... like I don't want to say just as good.
Some people would do
there are some
that.
things better. Well, some people, you did it. That's why I'm throwing it out there. Yeah, Guardians 2 is at 6, Guardians 1 is at 7.
Oh, shit, I did
so
do that.
So putting it right together, is it because it's like, they're both so good, I'm just going to put them next to each other. I can't, like, there is that
I didn't realize I did that.
There is just that little space in between them.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Are they not basically the same movie? Just number 2 is a little bit better.
Yes.
Some of the jokes were a little bit funnier at that point.
The villain is a lot better, I would say.
Yeah,
Eagle of the Living Planet.
Yeah, the villain was a lot better. Dancing Baby Groot.
Well,
Come on.
I was gonna say one actually, like the second one had a big death in it, but let's be honest, both of them hit you right in the heart right away. Guardians just did it at the beginning. Guardians 2 did it at the end.
Exactly.
There's just a different place of when they did it.
Exactly. It's more of I think it's a little...
I still remember that, walking in to Guardians 1, and this might be a spoiler. If you haven't seen Guardians 1
that's on you at this point.
Faux pas on you. But just hitting you with that gut punch of Peter losing his mom right away.
Yeah.
Was not expecting that.
No.
Not walking into a Marvel movie, was not expecting that. And they just, bam, punched me right in the gut. Like, I still remember how that gut punch felt when they did that. Still remember to this day how it felt and what kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for? What kind of feeling that had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, my top 5 is, I see you're finished already.
I finished.
Give me your full ranking from 16 to 1.
1 was Captain America: Civil War. It's got everyone we had so far. It was a great movie.
Oh, you're going 1 to the bottom. I said start. Start from the bottom.
You want to start from the bottom and then be here?
Forget he said that. We're
Okay,
starting from the
I didn't
bottom.
say that. I don't know what you're talking about. Number 16 was The Incredible Hulk. I already went over that in the beginning of this. Why it's there. It's just there.
It's just there.
15 was Thor. And I like how some people put it like before Avengers came out, or I think it was after the Avengers came out. It was kind of the joke of, yeah, Thor was kind of there to give you a Marvel movie until the Avengers came out.
Thor was there to give you an Avengers movie.
Not Avengers movie, but like a Marvel movie until the Avengers came out. I thought that was a funny joke, but you know what? I liked it, but I didn't like it enough to like say, hey, it's
But was it? Because we had Captain America in between them.
Oh, that's right. No, that's Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah,
that
Thor:
joke
The
was
Dark
about.
World, because then.
Well, as you can see, it's not that high in my ranking.
Actually,
either.
Thor: The Dark World was because the way I have them listed is in order of when they came out.
Okay, no, I got
So even Thor: The Dark World, the next one was Captain America, which was kind of like Winter Soldier was kind of like a pseudo Avengers movie.
Oh no, because they were saying that before. Yeah, why was that joke out then?
Because Captain America didn't have numerous characters in it.
That's true.
Because we saw Hawkeye was in Thor.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of the reason why.
I don't know. I can't remember why that joke came out then. But anyways,
Johnny's like, it makes no fucking sense now.
No.
Keep going though.
Anyways, it's just down there because you know what? Like I said, I like all Marvel movies, but it's not like I go in my DVD shelf and say, hey, I'm going to go watch Thor. Same with Captain America, First Avenger. Again, I like the movie. I don't just go out of my way to pick it up and watch it. Where I see 13 was Ant-Man. Good movie. Great standalone. I don't know. I actually don't even own it. But
Ant-Man, you're like, whatever.
Yeah. It was, again, good movie. Just it's all about what way I'd pick and go and choose. Obviously, sometimes it's just like, hey, I feel like watching such and such movie today, and it could make this thing completely out of order.
Yeah.
But other than that, this is just like if I have to if I'm going to right now, if I'm going to go watch a movie, I'm going to pick this one over this one. What was that? Was that 13? 12 is Thor: The Dark World. And 11 is Iron Man 3. You don't like them. Some people don't like them.
I had Iron Man 3 at, 15?
Yeah, you did.
Very low. My biggest thing about the Iron Man 3 was that the villain was weak. The Mandarin was a joke. Even though it was funny, like how they revealed that, it was a joke. Like, I wanted to see the real Mandarin.
Oh, yeah.
And compared to the other two Iron Man films...
I am the Mandarin.
Yeah. And compared to the other two films, though, I'll watch those over Iron Man 3. Like, the whole, I can't even think of, is it Atlas? Was that what it was called? The company, it started with an A. It was in Iron Man 3.
AIM?
AIM, that's what it was called. Like, even that whole organization, I was like... Great, they're making flame people. Yeah. That's our villain. He's trying to make a flame person. Oh, look at that. Oh, she's now a flame person. Great. It didn't hit with me. Like, that was probably the only Marvel movie I walked out of and was like, meh, it was okay. Like, I didn't say it was terrible, but it was like, meh. I give it her take. Like, I didn't agree with some stuff, but
I mean, that's any movie though. You don't agree with stuff. I mean, the only thing.
Yeah, but there are differences between. That was a great movie. However, I don't agree with this compared to. It was there. Yeah.
Well, the other thing with that one, there's stuff I agree. I don't agree with either. But at the same time, like the one thing we talked about this. I was mad about the Mandarin thing at first.
Yeah.
And then they came out with the Marvel one shot. And it's like, okay, you know what? I can let it go now.
Yeah,
that's fine because there is I can. Did you watch the one shot?
Describe it to me. I might have.
So it's what's his name? The guy who played the Mandarin, Ben Kingsley. I don't remember the character's name.
Is it the one where he was in prison?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's in prison, and then someone from the actual Ten Rings, which is part of the Mandarin's organization, says, it would basically, we're taking you in to meet the actual Mandarin. And if it goes along with some of the storylines I heard of, the Mandarin at one point is kind of more of takes over someone's body. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I know that type of stuff. I can let it go then. Because he could, again, all of a sudden become the Mandarin.
Like, they never touched that, though. And they're probably, let's be honest, Johnny, between you and me.
Yeah.
They've never touched the Mandarin since.
I know.
They've never mentioned the Mandarin since.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, they're probably not going to touch the Mandarin.
Let's put it this way. Well, now they won't touch the Mandarin because Tony Stark's not going to do anything. Yeah.
He's probably going to be
Downey
done
Jr.'s
after
not gonna-
Avengers 4.
Yeah, exactly. So they're not going to touch it now. Before, the thought was, well, they might touch the Mandarin again because there was talk before that, hey, I want to do an Iron Man 4. Awesome. We can actually have a real Mandarin. Because I like the fact that we introduced AIM.
Yeah.
And, I mean, yeah, we didn't get MODOK, but you don't need him right off the bat. At least we introduced the organization he's part of. But my thing was, I was mad about it, and then I let it go when I saw the Hail to the Chief is what the one shot's called.
Yeah.
And that I let it go after that. So it's like, okay, there's like, so Mandarin's in the real Mandarin is in the universe somewhere. Okay. And he's pissed that people put his name out there. So it's like, and the potentially Slattery, I can't remember his first name now. I got his last name at least now. Ben Kingsley's character could become the Mandarin if they want to bring him back for it. So
I just don't. I was just like not happy with it. You're not touching it, so really, what have you done with it?
I'm a little more forgiving.
Iron Man 3 is at 11. What's at 10? Get into your top 10.
Iron Man 2.
We'll sit here and argue about Iron Man 3 all day, and people are going to be like, get back to the rankings. Number 10.
Number 10 is Iron Man 2.
Okay.
You got your introduction. You got
I liked
Whiplash.
Iron Man 2.
And you got Whiplash in there. You got your introduction to War Machine. And, I mean, it wasn't a necessary plot line, but saving Tony's life from his...
War Machine or to Iron Patriot?
Iron
Patriot.
That was not necessary.
Either or, Johnny. He's both the same person.
No, but what I was saying is, I mean, it wasn't.
I just know you hate Iron Patriot.
I just don't like it. I don't like it.
Plus, wasn't Iron Man 2 the return of Mickey Rourke? It was his kind of like return role after what? The Wrestler was his last one before that?
I don't
Mickey
remember.
Rourke, who played
Yeah,
Whiplash.
I know who Whiplash. I don't know his career.
Yeah, I thought it was his kind of, that was like his
step back into
to the big screen. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I mean, it's introduction to War Machine. We get Whiplash, was pretty cool. And I mean, it's not a necessary story arc, but it was a good one too, where Tony has to improve his arc reactor because it's killing him.
Yeah.
So, and again, if these are any spoilers, shame on you.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke was in The Wrestler in 2008, and then 2008 through 2010 he did like Informers, Killshot, and Rogue Warriors video game, which are kind of like, they're not anything huge.
Yeah.
So really, it was a 2-year layoff of like big movies that
make
Mickey
some
Rourke
money
had done.
in the meantime until something else comes along.
And then it was like Iron Man 2, and then boom, he was in the Expendables.
Oh, okay. There you
it
go.
was kind of his return. I thought that's what it was, but go on.
Okay,
I
so
digress.
I'm at 10. 9 is Avengers: Age of Ultron. A lot of people didn't like it a ton, but I mean, just taking character by character. I mean, Ultron was great.
Yeah, Ultron was great, but it's just like,
Tell me
yet again, if it's on TV, I'd be like, if nothing else is on, I guess I'll watch it.
Well, I mean, the other part of that is there's some memorable quotes in there, and I've used it for a few times. Like one of my prop builds I was showing someone, and it's I'll show it to you guys one of these days, or it probably will appear when it's done. I'm working on the club from Thor Ragnarok. Well, I was swinging it because I made a little bit more progress on it. I was like, it's terribly well balanced.
It's terribly well balanced.
And it just came out without me even thinking about it. I was like, oh, wait, I quoted that.
Of course, that would be just in the memory banks.
It
for
would
Johnny
be, of
just
course.
to spit out. Yeah, I mean, Age of Ultron, I was kind of like, Looking back on it, it's like, nah. It's a lot lower on mine than it is on yours. What about number 8?
Number 8. Where's number 8? Avengers.
Again, terribly low, but keep going. I'm not going to touch that one again. We've
terribly low for you.
We've touched it. We've touched that topic already.
7. Well, 7 and 6 we already went through earlier. 7 is Volume 1 of Guardians of the Galaxy. 6 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And part of that, honestly, would also be the soundtracks.
Yeah. No. You've got to think about that when you think about those two movies.
Exactly. Number 6. Number 5 is Spider-Man Homecoming.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Made my top 5. but it's not the
Really?
highest. Yeah.
Really?
Yes, really.
I think that this one might be a top 3er.
I think this guy's a little biased about Spider-Man.
It was a really good like.
It was a really good movie.
I remember
Why do you think it's in my top 5?
reviewing it, and I was like, "This could be my favorite Marvel movie."
Why do you think it's in the top 5?
I know. Top 5 is good. I'm just saying, it could be top 3.
Could be better.
Go on.
Are you saying yours is number 3?
I don't know. We'll see.
I can just look at yours right now.
I don't
but,
remember where I put it. Don't tell the people.
I won't tell them, but I can look for myself. Number 4 is Iron Man. That's one of them I just iconically go back to. It's like, I can go watch Iron Man 1.
It's that and Avengers, like I said.
Yeah.
Do you only want to put those in the top 5, not only because they're good movies, but because of the nostalgia of, like, it started it all.
Yeah.
Tony Stark, like, that was the first time and kind of what we, like, that was a starting point for the Iron Man that we see today.
And let's be honest. Yeah, that's probably part of it, but what's not part of that with any movies everyone watches? Not even just Marvel. I mean, any movie you enjoy.
I'm not disagreeing. I have Iron Man in my top 5 as well.
I'm just saying, exactly. Iron Man is number 4. It's a great movie. Sometimes I just feel like I gotta go back and revisit and watch how Tony Stark acted in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because
it's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference. He's become way more responsible. Which sometimes you don't want to see that anymore.
Huge difference even after Avengers. What happened to that?
Exactly.
When he almost died.
Yeah.
And how he
the wormhole?
Then in what was it? Was it Ultron where he saw the Vision?
Ultron, he saw the Vision because Iron Man,
Scarlet Witch showed it to him. Right?
Yeah, Iron Man 3 was more about his PTSD with that scenario.
Yeah.
And then dealing with AIM and some other side things. Yeah, no, that was Age of Ultron that happened in the Vision like that. Yeah. I mean, I'll say this with Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, and even Captain nope, never mind. Winter Soldier is a different part of that. With those two, the reason it's a little bit higher, I like how they developed the characters even more from what they were before. It kind of developed them and showed more about how they're becoming more like superheroes and less like just I'm doing this for this reason, or Thor being more like a child going on just wanting to fight. It showed more about their character development.
What about your top 3?
Top 3. Where is number 3 on the list? Number 3, Doctor Strange.
Good movie.
It was a great movie.
Good movie. Like, it's one of the, like, I think that one was, like you said, Benedict Cumberbatch was funny.
Yeah.
The post-credit scene was hilarious.
Exactly.
But the visual effects was the best part.
Oh, it was. The storyline was great too. Like it was very lighthearted. I feel like it's almost the start of this new thing Marvel's going with, because it was like it was almost like halfway between. Tell me, because the colors.
Benedict Cumberbatch was kind of like a dick at the beginning. And
He
it was
was
more kind of darker. And then after he became Doctor Strange, it became more colorful and he became more lighthearted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The whole thing became, it's kind of like the transition of what Marvel's going into now, with everything being more lighthearted, more colorful, a lot lighter and brighter, whereas especially Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 and even Captain America: Winter Soldier. They were darker. They were darker movies, and it fit that personality, but now we're bringing Marvel in this other thing. And Doctor Strange was a great transition into that. And that's not why I ranked it like that.
Yeah.
But now looking at it, that's a good, like, another good thing about it.
What about your top 2?
Top 2 would be Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Okay.
And number one is Captain America: Civil War. It's got everyone in it.
It's a really good movie.
Great movie, yeah.
Like, that's just one where it's like, if that was on, I'll watch it every time.
Yeah. No,
I will watch it every single time.
I will too. I'll watch, if it's on TV, I'll go and watch it.
That was
right
our
away.
introduction to Black Panther, wasn't it?
Yes.
That was the first time we had seen Black Panther. Like,
I mean,
the fight scenes between him and Bucky. You had the Cap and Iron Man thing going on.
Yeah, exactly.
It had everything.
Exactly.
It had everything.
I mean, basically, you got the gang's all here, plus 2 introductory characters, Black Panther and Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man.
Yeah, you introduced 2 characters. You had the gang's all here, and the movie worked out really well. And I feel like that's actually a really hard thing to do, because you have so many characters. Introducing 3 characters, if you think about it, because we also have Baron Zemo.
And we also had what's his name? Crossbones. He was also in it for the first time too, wasn't he? No, he was in Winter Soldier.
He was in Winter Soldier. He wasn't Crossbones then.
And then he became Crossbones.
And killed him.
Yeah,
because we're good at that. We're good like that in Marvel.
In the very beginning,
let's kill off a lot of villains.
But didn't his technology? Isn't that the same technology the Shocker used?
Close to, yeah.
It's now electrified.
It's that and modified, which I like how they tied that in there. It's all like all the stuff that Tony and any of the superheroes left behind. These guys scavenge it and turn it into something else.
I'm going to go into my top 16.
Yes.
You ready for this?
Do your top 16. I'm going to watch as you do it.
16 through 1. We're starting at the bottom, and then we'll get there.
Starting at the bottom, then we'll be here.
Thor the Dark World is at 16.
Okay.
Then at 15, I've got Iron Man 3.
Okay.
14, The Incredible Hulk. At 13, I've got Age of Ultron.
Okay.
12, I've got Iron Man 2. 11, I have Thor. Then in my top 10, and number 10, we've got Ant-Man, not Iron Man, Ant-Man. Then at 9, we have, where is it? First Avenger, the Captain America movie. Then at 8, we've got Winter Soldier, Captain America movie. Then at 7, Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Then at 6, Guardians 1. Top 5. Number 5, Guardians Volume 2.
So you did the same thing I did.
Did the same thing. Same thing. And that's part of the reason Doctor Strange was a little low.
Yeah.
Because, yes, there were some in my top 5 that weren't in yours, but he would have been at 6 if Guardians 1 wasn't there already. So 5 was Guardians 2.
Yeah.
Then 4 was Iron Man.
Okay. We have the same exact 4.
3, The Avengers.
Okay.
And then
The nostalgia kicking in there a bit.
And then 2, Captain America Civil War, with number 1 being Spider-Man Homecoming.
I see. I knew it was your number 1.
It was either that or Civil War.
Okay.
Like, it was either one of those
I can't blame
two.
you. I can't blame you.
And I mean, like, how my top 5, how it worked in my head was Spider-Man had everything. Like, when we did our review, which I'll do it again, bam, right up there above Johnny.
Every time he almost hits me.
He almost hit it. Actually, when I was editing the last ones, it does get really close to the top.
Well, because I'm
our
tall,
heads, yeah.
so.
Well, both of us. It's big up there.
Yeah.
But like,
don't hit me with it.
it had everything. Like, and even when we did our review, I thought to myself, I'm like, there's really nothing I have to complain about this movie.
Yeah.
Like, there were a few, maybe limited complaints. Like, the only big one I can remember having is the Spidey sense.
Yeah.
But that's gone because I saw the Infinity War trailer and he's got it.
Yep.
Like, he's got his Spidey sense, so I can't be mad about that. Civil War, like I said with you, had everything. Had everything that I wanted. I'll watch it again
Everything,
when it's
everyone.
on TV. I mean, with number 3, The Avengers, I just remember my feeling going to see Avengers.
Touche.
The first time. Not even
Touche.
just Marvel, but, like, not even... Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
DC would not be coming out with Justice League this November if not for Avengers.
That's very true.
If not for Avengers, DC would not be I would never get to see my favorite heroes because I'm the DC guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to see my Justice League on the big screen
Marvel.
if it wasn't for the Avengers, if it wasn't for that movie. So I feel like that's why it's on top of being a great movie in the top 5. Iron Man, kind of a little it's a good movie, solid movie. Really, it's the start of it all. Maybe that has a little bit. That's why it's towards the bottom. And then Guardians 2 was just a great movie, fun movie. Like when I say great movie, a fun movie.
Yeah, it was a great fun
really
movie.
Fun movie, especially with Baby Groot. Baby Groot made that one of the more fun movies that I've ever seen, or funnier. Did I say that right? More fun movies? Is my English right?
Funnier.
Funnier. That's something.
That's the one we can use the IER for.
Sometimes my English and words, my words aren't, even though I was born here, my words aren't completely grammar.
Ricky doesn't speak his English very well.
Yeah, I have a little trouble with that. But yeah, so just to recap our top 5s, number 1, Spider-Man for me. Number 2, Civil War. Number 3, Avengers. 4, Iron Man. And 5, Guardian 2. Recap your top 5.
My top 5. Are we doing 1 through 5?
Just 1 through 5.
1 through 5. 1 was Captain America Civil War. 2 was Captain America Winter Soldier. 3 was Doctor Strange. 4, Iron Man. And 5, if I can find where I put it, was Spider-Man Homecoming.
Mm-hmm. So, really, you and me, the opposite. You had Spider-Man Homecoming at 5.
Yeah.
I had it at number 1. And I will leave all of this in the description so you guys can see our rankings, our original spreadsheet to see, but more so that you guys can take the list of films. And now this is where we turn it on to you. If you have not already, let us know down below. Rank your 16, all 16 Marvel movies to this point, where they would be 1 to 16. I am curious. Give me your 16, and then Give me some thoughts that you're thinking, some little cliff notes here and there. Why are you ranking some of these things here? Why are you ranking them there? What do you think of our rankings? Do we have something too high? Do we have something too low? Let us know down below in the comment section. I want to thank you guys for listening to today's podcast. A longer segment here. This is almost a podcast in its own with how long this segment has been. But
it was a hard one.
This was one I wanted to do. I saw it this week, like I said, on Kind of Funny on the Game Over Greggy show. And I was like, me and Johnny have to do it.
Of course.
We have to rank our Marvel movies.
And someday we can do DC.
And someday we can do DC, Batman v Superman down to the bottom. That's already there. And right above it will be Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So that's probably an easier list than the one we just did. But I want to thank you guys for either listening or watching. And as always, have a good day, everybody.